What up, Dokkanners? Which 7-year anniversary banner is better? The Monkey banner or the God banner? If we were to take out the new units completely, they're not even in the equation, just take them out completely, which unit has the better collection of featured SSRs? That is the topic of today's video because a lot of people have been recently asking me, Toon, where's the starting point? Where do I start on these summons? Because everybody's been talking about summoning on these banners, sure, but where do you start and then where do you prioritize your summons? Let's say after the fact, like let's say you've done 500 stones on each banner, you've got 3,000 more stones to go, and you have managed to pull Frieza, Buu Tanks, and Gogeta on this one. You haven't pulled anything on this one. Is it worth going to this banner and summoning these units, or should I continue to then focus on this? Okay, that might be kind of a bad example, but that's basically what I'm getting at. Some people might be new to the game. Some people might not spend enough on this game where they know enough about these characters. Is it worth investing on units that have their EZAs now, or investing on units that could be getting EZAs in the future that could be even more broken than what we've seen already? One thing to consider, folks, the year 3 LRs and the year 4 LRs have been given their EZAs. They will be happening on global during the 7-year anniversary. However, the year 5s have not received their EZAs. But to everyone's surprise, both year 4 and year 3 got their EZAs during year 7. So could that mean that the year 5 EZAs could be happening sometime soon? Could it be happening a year from now? There's no way of knowing. So with that in mind, is it worth summoning on these units more so than the year 4s? So it's things like that that people are having trouble determining. So hopefully we can help them out in this video. Let's just start by doing head-to-head comparisons with these guys. We've got we got the duos kind of opposing one another on these banners. Let's start from the bottom. Let's start from the Golden Week units. Last year was the GT Super Saiyans. Year before that was the Super Saiyan 2 Goku and Vegeta. Out of these units, the answer is by far and away the GT Super Saiyans. These guys have aged so incredibly well. Their leader skills are incredible. Their abilities are ridiculously good. They can hold their own. Even though they're temporary stackers, they can hold their own on legendary Goku events at the final stage, long form events at the final stage, Super Battle Road. Their short form value is off the charts as well. These guys are unquestioned to be superior to the Super Saiyan 2s. Now, keep in mind, these guys have been recently long rumored to receive their EZAs at some point, given that we had the Majin Buu saga, given we had Golden Week. People were thinking these two units would be receiving their EZAs, and they could be happening sometime soon. If they do get their EZAs, could they be better? We have no way of knowing. So I'm just going to go with the here and now and what we know. And I'm going to say that in the end, if these guys get their EZAs, at some point, these guys might too. I think they'll still be better. So I'm going to say the GT Super Saiyans have the lead, which means the Monkey banner is up 1-0 over the God banner. Moving on now to the year 3 LR EZAs. Both of these units are insanely powerful. They are both incredibly good. But the thing is, their variation only kicks in when they transform. Everything else about them is exactly the same. So we're only going to look at their transform state. Who is better, Gogeta or Vegito? Folks, I am a Gogeta fanboy, but I regret to inform you that the Vegito is better in my opinion. The reason why is because when he transforms, he has the ability to tank 30% damage reduction, and then it drops off to 15. And while that may seem like a very little, that is quite a bit when you compound that with raising of attack and defense temporarily, either once or twice, depending on where you're launching your super attack at, the 12 key or the 18 key. All of that combined with a damage reduction of 15%, that is a substantial increase. Not to mention he's got 200% base stats. And this is an ability that cannot be nerfed in any form or fashion on some sort of an event. When you're doing something like the Red Zone or the Legendary Goku event or Vegeta event or whatever, dodge can be taken away. And the defining trait for the Gogeta is a guaranteed critical hit and a high chance to dodge for the first 3 turns, as opposed to a 30% damage reduction. After which, the high chance of critical hit becomes a thing, and then a medium chance to dodge becomes a thing. The dodge can be completely eliminated in certain events, whereas damage reduction can never be removed. So in my opinion, this is a safer choice. This prevents possible lethal scenarios. Even after you transform, you could get hit with a super attack and it could be GG for you. So in my opinion, the Vegito is the better option because it is safer and it is a jack of all trades type of situation over a unit who can lose the ability to dodge depending on the event that they are facing. So that gives the edge once again to the Monkey banner. That is 2-0 Monkey banner, or I guess 3-0 if you want to just count them individually. Now we're looking at the Super Saiyan 4s and the Super Saiyan 5s. The year 5s, not the Super Saiyan 5s, the year 5s. Now here is a very difficult question to answer because the Super Saiyan 4s have their EZAs and they're busted. They're insanely good. 180% for Goku and Vegeta's families, 2 popular categories, massively raising attack and defense on both super attacks. Actually, this one raises defense for 1 turn, and then this one raises attack for 1 turn, but still, Both are incredible stat boosters temporarily. Both boast incredible ease when in terms of executing their super attacks because they get key +2 per rainbow or their matching type orb, and then another key +1 per type key sphere obtained. So basically, you're going to be getting an 18 key super just by picking up like one orb. That's an exaggeration, but you know what I mean. So these guys are really powerful. They also gain the ability to nullify enemies' actions with an active skill use or key +24, which is going to be happening fairly often. If you are wondering, this is going to be very easy to do. So these guys are off the charts now. They are so incredibly good that they are must-haves on any team. But the question is it worth, are they better collectively than what the year 5 fusions could be when they receive their EZAs? Is it something that you want to, do you think that it's worth investing in these units now to then get the EZAs either maybe during worldwide download, maybe it happens next year, who knows when it happens? Is it worth summoning now for these units whenever they get their EZAs later on down the road? Or is it better to wait until we know what their EZAs are to then really focus on summoning for them? In my opinion, for the sake of the events that are coming up during the 7-year anniversary, in terms of enjoying the content at the moment, I feel like the better choice is going to be the year 4s because we know what they can do. We know that they are going to be withstanding the test of time for a considerable amount of time. The only thing that could change is with these year 5 fusions, when they get really good, it doesn't mean that these guys are not going to be usable. They're just going to be different. So I feel like these guys will have their moment in the future, but just not yet. And that's not to say that they're not good now. They are still offensive forces, to be clear. They are very good. It's just that their defense is an issue. You have to rely on their high chance to dodge in the 3rd slot, which then kind of defeats the point. Why are you taking them off rotation? You want them to be focal points. They're 5-year anniversary units, for crying out loud. When they transform, the Vegito Blue is better because you have a guaranteed additional super tech, so you can launch an additional stacking attack. The Gogeta doesn't have that, but both are still good. They're flashy, they're fun to use. They are incredibly fun in Dokkan, but in terms of their EZAs, we'll have to wait and see. So I'm going to give the edge to the year 4s again. So the Monkey Banner is winning. Final 3 units here. We've got the worldwide download celebration unit from 2 years ago, the Vegito versus the Buu Tanks. This might be the easiest one for me. The answer is very easy to say. It is Vegito. Vegito is essentially an all-around all-star unit. You can throw this guy on any team. It has built-in 30% damage reduction, easily can launch super attacks, can maybe launch a second super attack, thereby increasing the cushioning before an attack hits you. Also, it's a great slot 1, a great Majin Buu Saga leader skill, and Battle of Wits, and has a nice healing ability that happens on turn 4 if you want, when your health falls below 77%. Basically, the reason why I find this guy to be by far and away the superior unit out of the 2 is that this guy can fit on any team in any situation. And when you transform, you can foresee all attacks for 10 turns. You do lose damage reduction, but you can still raise your attack and defense, you can counter, and you have a nice chance to offensively strike back with some critical hit and all that stuff. So Vegito is better. This is just a classic formula for a stacking unit who can launch multiple supers. Heal factor is really good. This unit can hit very hard, don't get me wrong, but in terms of all-around usage, I think this guy's a little bit more focused. He's a little bit more niche. You have to run this guy on certain teams to get the full effects of his passive. Plus, he only gets big bad bosses when he transforms into Buhan, which I think is a little bit of a detraction for the unit. But still, he's a fantastic unit as well. There's no mistake about that. I just think that when you consider all-around options, Vegito is better. So far, it looks like the Monkey Banner is just taking over this by a landslide, with 6 of the units getting the edge on the Monkey Banner. But still, reminder, these guys are all good, and they will be good later on too. Let's take a look at the last 2 units. Here is where things start to sway back in the God Banner's favor. Ultra Instinct Goku versus Royal Blue Vegeta. I regret to inform you folks, Royal Blue is inferior to the Ultra Instinct, in my opinion. We're not going to talk about the RNG factor because that is just too wide of a variable for me to consider here, but I do acknowledge it because as somebody who experienced 4 failed dodges in a row, I sometimes wonder if dodge is a real thing for me on my Goku, but it is. Would you rather have a 70% chance that is consistent across the board, or would you rather have a damage reduction ability that slowly gains traction within the context of a turn? I don't like this ability because of how little the damage reduction is to start. If it was like a 30% starting point and then goes up to 50, I would feel differently. But a 10% damage reduction is very different from a 30% damage reduction. And if you get hit with a slot 1 super, 10% damage reduction doesn't do a whole lot for you. And the problem is when you combine that with the revival skill mechanic, you have to have 7 attacks or more under your belt. You have to have received 7 or more attacks. And you're going to be facing a lot of dangerous scenarios with a unit that has a questionable mechanic here, of 10%, then going up to 20, and then 30. Even at 30%, you can sometimes still take significant amounts of damage. Now, to be fair, I do want to bring up the point again that I mentioned back here with the Gogeta. The dodge factor can be eliminated on certain events, so that does give the edge to the Vegeta. But in terms of overall execution of abilities, I feel like the Ultra Instinct Goku is still better, because if you eliminate dodge, he gets a 30% chance or 30% extra defense cushion when he gets hit within the same turn, and he only has to get hit 3 times to activate the revival mechanic, as opposed to 7. 7 is very difficult to pull off. In my personal experience in Super Battle Road, in a multitude of different showcases, you guys have seen that I have struggled to execute the revival mechanic on the Vegeta. So all things considered, I think with every event that you have to run with these two units, I think overall the Goku is the better option. Because let's say you are running the legendary Goku event, you can build up those 3 hits received throughout the event, and then when you get to the final stage where you can't dodge, at that point it's just a matter of entering a turn of 50% health or less, and then you can still use his revival mechanic. If this guy gets hit with a super because he can't dodge, you have the revival mechanic all set and in place. Ultra Instinct Goku takes the W, which means God Banner finally scratches and is on the board. And finally, we are looking at the Frieza and the Goku. This one, by far and away, the Frieza is the superior unit. This is one of the strongest units in the game. It's been a full year since this unit came out, and this unit is still probably the best unit in the game for the legendary Goku event. One of the main reasons why I consider this unit to be better is the overall link set, but then more importantly, a guaranteed critical hit on all Gokus, which means basically almost all the events that are relevant in Dokkan. Goku's the main character, so of course, most of the events will feature a Goku character. This guy has a guaranteed critical hit. Both units can launch multiple supers depending on their conditions. If they receive an attack in the first slot, they will launch an additional super attack. If they are in the second or third, they could possibly launch an additional super attack anyway. So these guys could be launching 2 or 3 supers on any given turn. Mega colossal damaging on the 12 key. This guy raises attack on the 12 key. This guy raises defense on the 12 key. So the Goku is a more conservative unit in terms of like being safe on long form events, because you do raise defense first and foremost. This guy is just an all-out blitz, but I will say this guy's offense is off the charts. You can start off easily with a 9 or 10 million attack stat on turn 1. I think Goresh even started off with like a 10 or 12 million attack stat on 1 turn, which is just crazy to say. So this Frieza is really, really strong. Both units suffer from the same weakness, which is turn 1, slot 1, damage reduction is non-existent. You're gonna have to rely on your stats to get you through a super attack if you get hit. If it's a lethal one, well, there's not much you can do about it. But out of the two, the Frieza is better. So that being said, folks, with all things considered, with the first 2 units on the left getting the edge on the God Banner, and then the rest having the edge on the Monkey Banner, in my opinion, I feel like overall there's more value to be gained on the Monkey Banner. But of course, once again, let me remind you that the 5-year LRs, when they get their EZAs, they will be ridiculously good, and same will the Super Saiyan 2 Goku and Vegeta. But then at the same time, so will all the other units that haven't received their EZAs. So who's to say, really? I think that the Monkey Banner is better. I may be a little bit biased because I am Team Monkey, but still, I had to say this and I had to give you my thoughts. Do you agree or disagree? I cannot wait to see the comments on this one, folks. Oh, and real quickly, here's a quick little tier list for the thumbnail. There you go. Guys, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to like down below. Let me know in the comments your thoughts on my analysis on these 2 banners in terms of a head-to-head comparison. Do you agree with anything that I have to say? Do you disagree? What do you think about these units? Which one will be better off with their EZAs? Do you like to think ahead? Do you like to summon for units that will possibly receive an EZA in the future? Or are you more focused on the here and now? I'd love to hear from you guys on this one in the comments down below. Also, be sure to subscribe for more dope content in the future, and click the notification bell so that you let YouTube know you want to see more of my stuff. Do it. Thanks again. Stay tuned. And that's about it. See ya.